Let's talk more about this story now with political analyst Professor Sethulego Matebesi. A very good evening to you, Prof. Grateful for your time. So the National Assembly says it will not get involved after the Constitutional Court said that it's not convinced it's the right court to hear this matter. How big of a thorn will this be in Ramaphosa's side? How big of a complication will it be for his presidency?
Hi, good evening, Tembeki, and good evening to the viewers. Yet once again, one of those tongues that will keep on pricking at the tenure of President Cyril Ramaphosa. I strongly believe it's a huge blow, but it's still early days. But what I have been predicting is that I know at a later stage perhaps there will be discussions about a cabinet, reshuffle, but I'm going to take it from an advisor's point of view. The president needs to start thinking about what is going to happen when the ANC asks him finally to also step aside. And I think that is just the beginning of the pressure that is going to build up. And we've seen in the past how the EFA, with their little numbers, can actually mobilize around an issue as disruptive as they are. They are going to put tremendous pressure on the tenure of president, and especially during the course of this year. So for me, it is a huge blow, but it's still early days because the president can still challenge. And I'm not a legal guru, but one should also just ask what are the political significance or the social significance of such a judgment. For now, if the president is successful in challenging this, I think then that it will go away, but the Pala matter will definitely not go away very soon.
So, like last year when the report was made public and we got a sense of the fact that the three-member panel, independent panel established by Parliament, had said it believed that there was solid grounds for the president to possibly have a case to answer to about what he knew about the theft of foreign currency from his farm and where we are now. Ramaphosa considered resigning. He was talked down from that position by some of his allies. Do you believe now that his resignation, if a court does not set this report aside, is an inevitability?
No, definitely not at this stage. I don't think the court have made any pronouncement around whether the president is guilty or not. But we should also understand if there's a case to answer, that does not necessarily mean you are guilty. And then especially when it has to do with parliamentary, processes, it would have taken months before this matter would have, in any case, been concluded at parliamentary level. I still believe at where we found ourselves, it will be very premature for the president to resign. Actually, he had an opportunity to resign way back, and that was been withdrawn. And I think the president and his advisors have been emboldened by the strong support that he got from the African National Congress. I mean, if you look at floodgates of anecdotal reports about how people are supporting President Ramaphosa within the African National Congress, I think that will give him the courage to go on. But I also strongly believe that there will become a stage where he himself even will not heed any advice that he will get in future about not resigning. And I strongly believe that he will do the right thing at that stage, whether to stay or not. But I think now it's premature for us to even talk about him resigning.
Would I be right to say, though, that the situation is made more unpredictable and more unfavorable by the fact that even though Parliament is not going to continue with an impeachment process based on this independent panel report because a vote is done and dusted on that, there are multiple other reports on the same issue still outstanding, including from the public protector and law enforcement?
Yes, the public protector's report is yet another report where the president has an opportunity to take on review. But I think what we fail to understand, what if the South African Police Service or the NPA, for instance, decide to formally charge the president tomorrow? and he appears in a court of law, then he has to step aside. I mean, so that for me will be a very decisive matter. But with the public protector's report, yes, it will have once again a significant blow if there are negative findings against the president. But based on previous experiences, he will have an opportunity to take this that particular report on review, and that can take months. But there are, I mean, even SARS, if they can make a pronouncement on this matter, that can be very devastating. I mean a negative, because sometimes they might even come with where they don't find the president guilty on whatever charges has been made against him in this particular case. But for me, a very decisive report or charge will be in the form of a charge from the NPA.
And there's been a lot of talk, especially around the ANC conference towards the end of last year, and now that we're waiting to hear the final list as far as the reshuffle and where Paul Mashatile, the ANC deputy president, will be placed. Will he indeed become deputy president of the country, or will the ANC do as it said, where it's been telling us that it's not a given, a foregone conclusion that deputy president of party becomes deputy president of state, right? Some have said that because Paul Mashatile has in fact harbored presidential ambitions, we may very well see him be the biggest winner should the Ramaphosa presidency crumble. Is he a president in waiting?
A very difficult question, definitely. A deputy president in waiting. And yes, he has a chance, even sooner than we have predicted. For me, it will be, I've got great respect for President Ramaphosa, but there is a time and a moment in life where you also have to realize that the ship is sinking. And I'm just asking myself a lot of questions. How is he going to circumvent so many challenges? And we definitely have a president, whether it is somebody who will from time to time have to take over from the president. But definitely that is what I will assign, to the incoming deputy president, that Paul Mashatile.
Professor Sethulego Matebesi, live for us in Bloemfontein. Thank you so much for your time as always.